Yo, yo, yo. I am here. So, Matt, that's where you're looking, unless you want to look at this shit right here, baby.
I'll just spin and stare the whole time.
But, yo, I'm here with Maddie P from CrossFit Chicago Avenue, a.k.a. Jaguar Strength and Conditioning.
The one and only.
Dude, do you know how excited I am to interview you?
Yo, I'm excited to be here. Never done anything like this before. I feel very important with all these cameras and microphones around. So I'm just going to roll with it. You take the lead. I'm going to follow along.
So I've told people, so the old BTY crew that you've adopted over there, like, really? Like, when's it airing? When's it airing? Like, people are psyched to hear what you have to say.
You have followers? People tune in? How many people subscribe to the Mark Buckner show?
I know. Bridget, don't let them know. We are going to gain some followers here. So let's do this. Let's get into it. So tell.
You have notes? I don't have
notes.
any
I got
notes.
questions, baby.
I'm ready.
I'm
just going to shoot
This is
from
like
the cup.
Howard Stern shit, baby.
Well, I hope
We're going to go
draw
deep.
the line
We're going
at some
deep.
point.
We're
All
going
right.
deep.
Get
Tell
in
us.
there.
Tell us. All right. So purpose of this is I've been starting to interview small business owners, right? And kind of hearing a little bit, how you run your business and what you're passionate about, and kind of get inside Maddie's head a little bit. So tell us how you got into fitness. Tell us a little bit about little Maddie P. Was he an athlete? Like, come on.
All right. I guess the way that I ended up with a strength and conditioning and CrossFit gym is I started working out pretty avidly as a kid. I was a remarkably small child. I'm talking about going into high school, less than 5 feet tall, maybe 100 pounds. I mean, tiny.
Oh my God. We are
Tiny.
twins.
Were you the same way?
I was 4'11", 90 pounds, literally almost got my head flushed down the toilet.
Yo, same. Bullied bad in
Oh,
junior
man.
high. Tons of bullying. I've blocked out. My mom jokes that I blocked out most of that part of my life because she tries to remember things about childhood, and I'm like, don't remember anything.
But I had fast feet and a sharp tongue.
See, that'll work good for you. I had a slow brain, and so it didn't work so well for me. But it was sophomore year of high school, I got the shit kicked. Can I swear?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I got the shit kicked out of me in front of a bunch of the school, and then started boxing the following week. So I've never been on a school sports team in my life. I boxed competitively, not that I was very good at it, for like 4 years through high school into early college. Got real obsessed with the weight room because if you're little, then you got to get jacked because that way people respect you. But then coming out of, when did you start CrossFit?
2012.
2000. So you age me in that. We're old timers in the sport now. It was 2014 when I first found CrossFit. And in college, I lifted a lot, but I was a frat boy, right? So we did bench press, bicep curls, and shrugs.
Yeah.
And so I had just moved to the suburbs, actually in with a girlfriend at the time. And no joke, up until then I had lived in college, frat house, big houses with like 6 dudes, always had a bunch of dude roommates, and then I moved in with a girlfriend, and immediately then the amount of competition in your life goes down drastically, right? You're not arguing about things and betting on things. And I was living in Carroll Stream, I Googled competitive activities near me, and CrossFit popped up.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, all right, cool. It's like competitive exercising. I was like, dude, I've been daddying exercise for 10 years. I'm going to show up and beat up on everyone. I had some like slightly visible abs. I could bench 3 plates. I weighed probably near 200 at the time.
You weighed in at 200?
Yeah, bro. There was a lot of PEDs taken in college. That was the days where pro hormones were legal. So I was just slamming frozen pizzas and taking pro hormones. And I was like a thick daddy. But keep in mind, I was a thick daddy who had never done a set of squats in his life. So my legs were more chicken leggy than they are now. I was just all chest and arms walking around like this. Like those memes you see?
Yeah.
Me. But anyway, showed up to my first CrossFit class. I was like, I'm just going to beat up on everyone in this. And got absolutely steamrolled by everyone, which is most people's first experience with CrossFit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You go in there chest out, and you find out you have no lungs, you have no form, you have no flexibility.
My idea of cardio was like a set of 10.
Yeah.
A set of 10 bicep curls, and you'd be like, And yeah, couldn't squat. I couldn't squat to death.
All right, fast forward me to how you got into competing, because you've competed on teams, which I don't know if people know that about you.
Yeah, I love the competitive side of the sport. I got into competing a few months in, after I put my ego in my pocket and realized I had to start at square one of this whole thing. I picked up stuff relatively quickly. And so my first competition, the first gym I was at, I didn't compete there. I moved from FTX CrossFit to CrossFit Amplify and competed in the Open. Or I guess my first Open was at my first gym, and my first live competition was the Amplify Open when I went to Amplify, so maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and have pretty steadily competed ever since. Local competitions, the Open, quarterfinals. I'm by no means an elite CrossFitter. That's kind of the end of the road for me is quarterfinals, but I love the competitive side of it because a lot of people stop competing in physical activities after what? College?
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of value to still having that. It lights a fire under you that most things will not if you're working out by yourself.
Which is what was burning in my a question coming up for me is, what does the competition do for you? And before you answer that, you know what? So my first gym was CFC, CrossFit Chicago, which you had to fight.
School.
Which you had to
RIP,
fight.
baby.
It was on the wall right when you walk in.
No, where was that?
That was right off Elston, like around like Elston and Willow, right just north of North Avenue.
Okay.
Check your ego.
Check. Love that.
Which is what you just kind of said. Like, once I got my ego checked, like, and that was it. It was either check your ego or leave your ego at home. It was something that, which stands out to me still in there, but it actually is carried for me throughout my life. Whenever I'm in a situation, whether I'm negotiating a deal in real estate or working with a client or someone's giving me feedback, I may not like it, but inside my head, I'm saying, check the ego, open your ears, listen to the feedback, see what you can take.
I think there's a lot to be said about that. And since opening the gym, you see people walk in, and it's usually people that have some type of fitness background, right? They've been exercising for a while. But if they haven't been doing what we do, then they get steamrolled, like we talked about. And there are two different reactions at that point. The, oh shit, I'm not as fit as I thought I was, but I should probably do this stuff so that I get fitter. Or there's the, I'm never going to come back here. I'm going to forget it happened, and I'm going to continue to think that I'm really fit because I can bench press. And I've seen, and it plays out more that way the second way with dudes. Dudes have a tougher time. Oh, man. I've had people walk in that think that they're hella fit, and then they aren't fit by our standard of fit. And then it's like, I don't want this to have ever happened.
Well, that dude that I worked out with today with the foursome, Mike, who said that's his first week there, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Zaruba? Mike in the thing today?
Yeah, who was in my foursome. It was
2 years.
No. Then his name was
Oh, yeah, we got a new guy, Mike. He played college football for the Badgers.
Wow.
So he got an athletic background.
Yeah, but he was like, so here, that's a dude who he kind of implied he was getting his ass handed to him by coming there.
He's got the right attitude.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, I don't think he's going anywhere.
No.
I was sucking wind today, man.
He got hooked.
All right, next question. What's the coaching philosophy, and where's it come from? I mean, what do you get? You get CrossFit Life Certificate 101. We get, the industry has a bunch of certificates, right? But this is a lot self-taught. I'm assuming you get some coaching in the industry. Like, give us a scoop. Like, how does what's the Maddie philosophy?
The Jaguar method?
Yeah. M&A, baby.
That's really how the gym came to open, because I have not done CrossFit since I started in 2013, 14. I loved CrossFit and competed and was doing it all the time, but I found that year after year, I spent less time working out and more time nursing injuries and not making progress. And it's that old school run and gun CrossFit style of today, work up to a heavy triple on overhead squat, and then we're going to murder this Metcon. So as I found that I couldn't sustain that, I pulled totally out of CrossFit, started working out at East Bank Club by myself, and dove deep into the science of exercise and like, yo, why am I hurt all the time? But working out by yourself at East Bank with your headphones in is boring as fuck. And so after like a year of that, I'm like, this isn't fun. So how do we take CrossFit, which is that group exercise, that competitive mentality, the excitement that comes with it, but how do we make it sustainable for people and more that aligns with their goals? So I've done, I don't know now, 24, 25 different certifications, everything from like a weekend long CFL 1 through I just finished a 18-week advanced biomechanics course through Prescript, shout out, plug, which was awesome. And it's taking the strength sciences world, which has been around for decades now and has tons of research on what works and what doesn't. We as a race have pretty much figured it out and applying that to the sport of CrossFit because CrossFit and what they teach is all based on anecdotal experience. It's not based on actual science, which is why you've been at my gym for how long now? 6 months?
Yeah, it's June.
Ish, give or
Almost,
take.
almost
Wow,
fuck,
coming up on your
a year.
anniversary, dog.
Hell.
But right, it's not max out day every week. And we don't
No.
do competitive Metcons every week because you, as a human being, don't need to compete every day. As soon as there's a score box in the app, we all know what happens. Everyone's movement quality goes down, right? Because they want to get the best score. So it's how do we apply the strength sciences world and these principles that have been established, the type of training that you would see for collegiate athletic teams, professional teams, progressive overload, periodized cycles, and apply those to the CrossFit space so that we can all keep doing it and getting better and not just overload the same movement patterns every single day.
Right
That's
on.
my big bit.
Dude, you may have to break this down eventually. Like you're speaking a little over my head already. But what
I'm a nerd when it comes to that side of stuff.
and that's what kind of shows in your gym, in your programming, in the culture because I agree. You keep saying competitive competition. I find there's definitely that, and I'm there for that, but I'm probably there more for the camaraderie and accountability that comes out of not you calling me up saying when you coming into the gym versus just like where have you been or good to see you and then like I'm not going to give up and punk out. Like I'm gonna get through this. Of course, I've had to adjust that a little bit this year. That's for a different topic.
Scaling it back, baby.
But I love that type of accountability of like pushing you through, hanging with your partner, like that type of commitment you get from everybody in there, which is part competition, but part just kind of holding each other accountable and making it go through.
That's a huge piece of it, right? You're talking about why do people join gyms like this? Community.
Yeah.
There's
absolutely.
so little in-person social interaction in our society today, but you show up to that gym every day. You're there pretty much every day, and you see the same people. So it's not just you're at your station touching your bar. You're talking to people. You're working together. And then it promotes effort, right?
Yeah.
If you're working out, if you're doing it by yourself, get a little tired. It was supposed to be 5 rounds, 3 rounds in, you go, and that's probably good for today. If the homie beside you is not stopping, you're not going to be like, well, I'm a bitch if I stop, so I got to keep going too. It holds you accountable.
Which is one of my next questions.
Oh,
What we're talking about right now, mindset.
huge.
Mindset. So the accountability, the group process of the group fitness helps with the mindset. How important is mindset for CrossFit and how important and where is your mindset for your business?
I think the two can go hand in hand, right? The mindset that's required for CrossFit is different than most other styles of exercise. The average person, when exercising over the course of the week or the month, does not get to a place where they might feel physically sick because they're pushing so hard. And it requires that tenacity to continue through that. And I think what you're implying, which is totally correct, is running a business is hard. and you run into issues all the time. And kind of that same thing, they've done studies on it's the whole like ice bath thing, right? Ice baths, that's a separate topic, are not very good for you physically, but mentally, they're huge. They build resiliency, your ability to handle that discomfort and push through it. It's the whole Wim Hof thing. Start your day with an ice shower because if you can handle the cold for whatever it is, 2 or 3 minutes, then everything else that day will feel easier. Similar to if you're used to pushing hard in exercise, you're going to get used to pushing hard in business and in relationships and whatever it is as well. I think there's absolutely carryover.
Which is what you've been talking about on Friday workouts, the prep for Murf. If you do some, what'd you call it? Bad shit?
Yeah, that's my, it's a scientific principle that we use for training for Murf, and it's called the shitty shit principle. If you do really shitty shit, then the shitty shit doesn't feel as shitty.
So give the audience an example so they know the difference of the shitty shit versus just the shit that you do Memorial Day weekend.
So if anyone CrossFits, they're probably familiar with the workout Murf. It's probably one of the two most famous CrossFit workouts. 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, 1 mile run.
Which is my favorite workout.
Murf is and it's
Fucking love
electric.
it.
The camaraderie of
Love it,
Murf is
love it.
unbeatable.
Fucking love it.
You just love wearing the vest because you think you
The
look like
vest
a
is new.
badass in the vest.
The vest is new. I've never really worn them except for the past
Really?
year.
Bro, you've been wearing the vest around the gym on non-Murf prep days just to look like a tactical soldier.
But that's doing the shitty shit.
That's the shitty shit. So we've been doing larger chunks. Most people will break up Murf into 20 rounds of 5, 10, 15. Pull-ups, push-ups, air squats. We've been tackling larger and larger rounds week after week. I think tomorrow they're going to tackle rounds of 20, 40, 60.
Oof.
Because then suddenly, when you show up to Murf Day and you're like, shit, I only have to do 5, 10, light work because you're used to the harder stuff.
And you can take off the vest.
And you can take off the vest. Wow. Who taking off the vest? You're going to wear a vest for Murf.
I don't know.
Don't be a baby, dude.
There you go.
Don't be a baby.
Tell me about a shitty day as a business owner at Jaguar.
Shitty day as a business owner.
Like, tell us the hard shit. Like, what do you got to go through? I know what I got through as a business owner.
I mean, the early days of Jaguar.
Tell them your beginning.
The early days were all shitty. So I opened the gym in December of 2019, and I did that from corporate America. The first class I ever coached, the first person I ever trained, was the first class the day we opened. I didn't come from the fitness industry, had no following. So I thought, if you build a gym in a part of town that doesn't have a CrossFit gym right beside it, it's like the Field of Dreams movie. If you build it, people will come. And I built it. And nobody fucking came. And day after day, dude, nobody came. I had my boy Dennis, who was our day one member. Kayla was soon after that. But I would have days where 3 people would come to class over the course of 6 classes I would host a day. I'd be texting my now wife, Kayla, and my best buddy, Dennis. They'd have worked out in the morning. I'd be like, yo, you got to come back to 5:30 because I have a new person in class, and I don't want them to show up by themselves. And then right as we started to get momentum.
Before you get to that, how did you get through that mindset and how long did that last you? That's a grind.
I mean, bro, that was a grind for...
How much did you put your life savings out there?
Everything. Absolutely everything. And every month I would just watch the amount of money we had in the bank go down and go down. And I'm calculating out and forecast how many months until we're out of cash and this whole thing's gone. And so...
How were you sleeping?
Bad. Stress levels 100 all of the time. And trying anything out. Yo, at one point, I bought a billboard on the side of the bar liquor box. And it had a picture of us all. We used to use those dumb steel maces and steel clubs. God, I did so many dumb things. And it had a bunch of people, mostly my college buddies, because we didn't have any members to use at the time, all holding up these steel maces and steel clubs. I think I paid like $1,800 a month for 6 months with this billboard, and not one person came into the gym. Adam and I were walking around putting flyers on cars. We were doing anything we could think of and just not really catching anything with it.
I'm I've had this conversation with a lot of people. I think to really be successful as a small business owner,
Mhm.
you have to live in an uncomfortable zone. You have to be uncomfortable
Oh
to
yeah.
continue to grow, to continue to push. You have to not promoting sleepless nights, but there's that edge where, like, if you want to grow, if you want to be successful, you got to have your foot on the gas, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like being a small business owner, laying your balls on the line and going for it. It's hard shit, man. It
It's
is
an
really, really
inevitability.
hard shit.
It's just, yeah, I never heard of someone that was just like, I'm gonna open this business and immediately it took off. You got to be willing to grind and you got to be willing to fail, right? There's no guarantees.
Where does that come from?
My dad is an entrepreneur and always has been. So I think it comes from him. He moved here from the UK when he was 21, 22 years old with nothing, two suitcases, ended up working his way up the ranks in his different companies, started his own business that he had for 15 years, grew it into a huge company. I mean, his company catered the Super Bowl multiple times. He did a lot of big stuff, yeah, in the catering industry. And I think that entrepreneurial spirit comes from him.
Do you think that's organic or that was taught? Because I'm assuming the way you talk about your father, you didn't see him much. You were like your dad was like my
No,
dad. I didn't
not
see.
growing up.
I grew a relationship with my father when I started working for him. Otherwise, I
Oh
didn't
shit,
see him
yeah.
and I didn't know him,
That was kind of the
except when
same.
he came home and laid down the line.
Oh, the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was an adult before we had like really a strong relationship because he wasn't
So,
around.
so you think it's organic, or he did stuff to teach you that?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think some of it has to be an inherited trait, but I think not as much taught, but just bared witness to. I saw how hard he worked, and I think whether it is intentional or not, those are things you absorb as a kid, right? If you're used to your parent or parents grinding and always working hard, then that kind of becomes more of a standard of this is how it is, and it's okay if it's hard.
All right. Next question. You got two brothers, right?
Two brothers.
Do they both have the grind?
Yeah, they both have the grind.
Listen, they're going to watch this, so you better be honest.
I better tiptoe. No, they both have the grind. I think for both of them, that grind has come later in life. So I think Adam, who runs the gym with me and is my partner and is my go to guy, and I couldn't have done it without him. Adam has developed that grind over the last couple of years. When he moved out here from Philly to open the gym with me, he didn't have the grind, but he's learned the grind. And my youngest brother now lives in Chicago too, has for a couple of years. He's a trainer at Equinox, everyone's trainers. And he has really developed that grind probably just in the last 2 years.
Brings me directly to my next question.
Alley oop, dog.
What's your why?
What's my.
You know what I mean by that?
I think so. Why do I do what I do? Honestly, dude, because I fucking love it. I sold elevators for 7 years and I was very successful at that. I was making more money when I left that industry than I may ever make, possibly, at what I'm doing now. And I wouldn't go back for the world. I love meeting people like you and all of the wonderful people that we have at the gym. And I am obsessed with the training side of things and getting to share my passion for that with people and see them become passionate about it is more fulfilling than anything else I could ever do. I love showing up to work every single day. And I meet a lot of coaches that have been at this for a minute and they own gyms. And a lot of gym owners don't coach on a frequent basis because they start to run the gym and they hire coaches to take over that role. And that's not something I ever want to do. I still want coaching to be part of every day of work for me.
So, how do you, and this is, you're my third CrossFit gym,
Right?
and we're,
Are we counting BTY as a CrossFit gym?
yeah,
All
or
right.
group fitness gym,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
Easy. HQ gonna come after them because they didn't pay the license fee. Yeah,
Uh,
third CrossFit gym.
and even before that, before CrossFit Chicago, I worked out at FFC, and I remember when I was at FFC, like spinning was fucking in, lifting was in. There was just kind of like, and I had a whole crew. Like we all kind of worked out together, and we had a crew. And then like, there's these highs you get, right? And you know, like, right, I know when I'm on a good run, and we're on a fucking great run at Jaguar, man. Like I'm all in. I may be new to it. There's a lot of OGs there. I'm trying to work my way in with them, but
Bro, you're it.
Jaguar is just on a fucking high. So if you're not there, you want to get there. And this Saturday, next Saturday, every Saturday, once a month. Is it the first week of the month?
The Squat Up Saturday.
Squat Up Saturday in the
We're
summer?
randomly peppering them in throughout the summer, so you got to stay tuned on
Stay tuned
Instagram.
for Maddie P. Check out the link.
Jaguar Strength _shy.
For a free visit.
Free visit.
The workout.
And join. And get jacked.
But Jaguar's on a real high.
No.
And so going back to when you were talking about, I don't want to give up coaching. And I remember former coach Bryce, who was awesome, had super strong commitment, but he coached every day, grinded it out. And after 4 or 5 years, he would say it himself, I just watched the dude just burn himself out. Like, so where does this go? How does Maddie make sure he doesn't get burnt out? Adam doesn't get burnt out? How do you grow your business? You're going to eventually want a family, right? Besides dogs.
Already got the pups.
How does Maddie not get burned out? Where do you take this? Like, tell me, what's the 5-year goals here? We want to know. People want to know. Let's talk out of school, baby.
I'll pull it out of my
Let's
pocket.
talk it out of school. Give
So-
them the skinny.
I don't know how you get burnt out if it's something you love, right? People that play golf their whole life, they continue to play golf because they love doing it. For me, that's the same as coaching. Now, that doesn't mean that some days don't get tiring and you have good days and bad days.
Yeah.
But if you love the shit,
I mean, Buckner asking you 3 times to tell me about the workout.
bro, let me tell you what, you ain't the problem. I do, though. Half the time I'll finish explaining the workout and you be sitting there with this face. And yeah. You're like, all right, so. But no, long term, right? At some point, coaching has to happen less if the business expands. If you look at all the way on one end of the spectrum, you look at like an Orange Theory or an F45. Whoever opened that joint ain't coaching every day anymore because
I mean,
as the product grows,
I don't know if they were ever coaching.
they might have not been, right? That was something created in a lab to make people sweaty. But we will, long term, we're looking right now for locations in the suburbs. We're going to open a second joint in the western suburbs is the plan. Timeline TBD on that, probably end of the year or so. So you have to bring on bodies and anytime you bring on bodies, there's always the possibility that the product diminishes because it's not what you started with.
It's not
and
Maddie.
who's doing it. It's not me. It's not my brother at some point, right? But we will be very specific in who we bring on. I mean, we brought an amazing coach on. First person we ever hired was, I don't even know now, 9 months ago, 12 months ago. We brought on our first outside of the family coach. He crushes it. And then we'll just take it from there. But 5-year plan, I would love to have a second location in the suburbs. And another big joint we'd like to do is launch our programming as a virtual programming option. So a platform that allows people that aren't at our facilities to follow along with our programming if they love the CrossFit, but they want a little bit more scientific version of it.
I got 3 letters for you. SOP.
Standard operating procedures.
Hell yeah, baby.
Bro,
Oh,
I
yeah.
am so impressed that I just drilled that.
SOP,
I've been
Jaguar,
out of the corporate
SOP,
America
baby.
for a long time. No joke, though. It's funny that you say that. Exactly 1 week ago, I hired a business coach, business mentor.
Yep.
Because
I love hearing this.
I love programming. and the science of it. And I'm a pretty good people person. I get along with people
You're
and I
amazing.
communicate
Like
well.
your energy in the gym. I don't care if it's 5:30 in the morning or 6 o'clock at night. You've been there fucking 12 hours, and you just like literally like I got to put you back on your Ritalin.
The key to that is 1 gram of caffeine a day, a full gram.
Uh,
But yeah, the business side of it, the way we've ran things since the day we opened is shoot from the hip, right? Adam and I are in there every day together and we just communicate and we talk about. But to be honest, I don't have SOPs for anything. How to onboard people, how to follow up with people.
But that's what I hear where you're going. That's what probably the last year to 2 years I've spent a lot of time in my business doing SOPs. I have an SOP how to put someone in my CRM. I have an SOP how to book an appointment. I have an SOP on how you get paid if you do a showing for me. Like fucking
The goat.
break it down. And that's I think I from another small business owner in learning how to hire and manage people and expand your business, that is freaking crucial. And it's nerdy, it's geeky, but once you have it in place, you freaking love it. Because
It's
it's
not
just
the
like
fun stuff.
I geek out on I geek out on a lot of it, on all of it. And that's what I
Shout
think
out
is
to you. That's dope.
I think what's fun about being a small business owner is like these different dimensions that you get to add on and figure out how to juggle and incorporate people. And then there's times like, you're losing your hair like me and you're out of your mind. Yeah, you got it going, bro.
For now.
Adam, we got to have a whole nother discussion about it.
Ooh, roasted.
He's not even here to defend himself, but he knows that forehead's growing.
He's about 6
Check it
years
out,
younger
baby.
than
Check
me.
it out. All right, I got one more question for you.
I'm
Because we
ready.
cannot not end this conversation with not talking about nutrition, which we have not touched on whatsoever. We know you don't have to worry about nutrition. Let's see what that metabolism's like when you're my age. But
People have been telling me that for a decade.
people told me that for a decade too. It finally started.
And then it finally hit.
I got to adjust every year. But what role does nutrition play in fitness, preventing injuries, staying healthy, killing it in the gym? What do you got on that?
Right? It's kind of the lowest hanging fruit. Pun intended on
There you
that
go.
one. This is one I would really kick off to Adam if he was here because he handles all our nutrition consultations and coaching within the gym. But that being said, I've got a pretty good breadth of knowledge on it. Nutrition really is everything. What you do, here's a nerdy thing. Stimulus, recovery, adaptation. There's a thing called an SRA curve. When you're in the gym and whether you're hitting Murf prep or you're squatting, whatever it is you're doing, you create a stimulus. You don't grow and get better in the gym. You create an impulse to your body to do so. After you create that stimulus, your performance on all things, whatever you're working on, actually drops. That's the recovery period. And then hopefully, if fueled appropriately, it comes back up into the adaptation and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger over time. That is your legs growing, your heart becoming more efficient, whatever it is. If you don't have the appropriate nutrients and you're not feeding yourself what you need, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, whatever, then that recovery doesn't make that curve back up in the right direction. And you can literally just, even if you're working out all the time, you can continue to diminish performance because you don't have the fuel you need to improve. On the opposite, that's a performance-based look on it, right? For those that want to improve their performance. If we're looking at an aesthetics goal, bro, the nutrition side is way more important than the exercise side.
Absolutely.
If you want to lose weight, you want to get shredded, whatever it is for you that are your goals, the nutrition's going to be the biggest one.
Yeah.
Everyone wants
Absolutely.
the pill. There is no magic pill.
No. You got to grind it out. Got to
You
put in
got to
the work.
grind it out. It's the same thing, right? It's work ethic.
No work, no reward, baby.
Everything takes sacrifice. The gym takes sacrifice, and maybe not eating that extra piece of pizza or that extra beer on the weekend requires sacrifice.
Oh yeah, dude. I really appreciate you coming in and doing this with me.
This was dope.
Yeah, totally fun.
Loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're the homie.